enough. What's up, nerds? My name is Cory Bergeron. You are watching Cory Bergeron Recordings, and right off the bat, I apologize if the lighting or camera audio isn't great. I don't have a microphone set up, so I'm using the camera audio, and I'm just using the lighting that I have in the room here. So, tomorrow at 10 a.m., I have a drum session with a band called Nighttime in Kansas. What is interesting about this is I'm doing drums at a different studio. So I am doing drums at Raven Street Studios. It's here in Ottawa, and the reason why we are using this studio to record drums is because it has a massive live room. So drums sound awesome in it. When I describe it to anyone, I say when you walk into the live room, you can notice that your footsteps sound really nice and there's a little bit of a decay on them. Anyways, the band Nighttime in Kansas, they primarily record everything themselves, and they do it all in like I guess a basement studio or their own little studio, which is awesome. And yeah, they're just doing the drums in a large live room. So again, why am I making this video? Whenever you record at a different studio, I think it's important to bring specific elements that I'll get into. I've recorded at this studio a handful of times, but surprisingly I haven't been there in a year. So let me go into a bunch of things that I'm bringing, and I'll explain why I'm bringing them and the importance of them, and then we will go from there. Number one is my camera and tripod. I'm going to be trying to document it. I don't know how it's going to turn out, but you'll see because it'll be in this video. You don't care about this stuff. You're here to talk about audio. This is in no particular order. Number one, we got a measuring tape here. It is important when you're recording drums to make sure that your overheads are in phase with your snare, that your room mics are in phase with your snare, and the studio probably has a measuring tape, but just to be safe, I always bring one with me. Number two, we got slap clats. Basically, someone left these at my studio, and they're more or less moon gels, but they're like circular instead of square. When you're recording drums, obviously having moon gels is really, really nice, as you can kill any sort of resonance. I may go in, whenever I use moon gels, I like to cut them into pieces because I find one moon gel is often like too much, depending on the drum, depending on the room, all that stuff. So, slap clats or moon gels. Number three, I'm gonna stop saying the number, but we have tape. Again, the studio probably has tape kicking around. Ideally this would be gaffer tape, but this is orange duct tape. It's all I have on me at the moment. The advantage of having gaffer tape versus duct tape is that gaffer tape does not leave a residue. So if you need to tape down a cable, if you need to tape a microphone, whatever you have to tape, you can rip it off without leaving a residue. So I have to be careful if I do end up using this, but it's there if I need it. A notepad and a pen. When you're recording, it's good to keep notes. It's basically as simple as that. Take one. First chorus good, bridge bad. Now you see. Hard drive. It's important to bring a hard drive so you can obviously transfer the files. On top of that, I like to bring a little USB with some reference music. When you're going to a different recording studio, the monitoring environment and the speakers may be different. When I record anything, I like to be heavy-handed on the EQs, on the compressors, whatever gear I have to try and get it to that final sound as quickly as possible. But you want to make sure that when you're making those critical decisions that you know what you're listening to. So it's important to bring just a USB with reference mix on it so you can listen to music that you're familiar with through the speakers at the studio so you can familiarize yourself with the environment. What are we recording? We're recording drums, so you need to have a drum key. Again, you don't want to be in a situation where the band goes, oh crap, we forgot a drum key. Do you have one? And you say no, and then they instantly fire you on the spot. So it's important to have a drum key. Phone charger. Keep your phone charged. This is another fun one here. I don't know if you can see this, but this is my Pebble Studios input list, and all it is a list of inputs, and then what microphone's being used, what preamp, what outboard gear is being used, and what converter in we're going into, and the notes. I like to bring this because I know for a fact that there will be two assistants tomorrow at the session, one from the studio and one that I'm bringing. When you have multiple people setting up microphones and cables and all that stuff on a drum kit, which is probably going to be realistically around 15-16 microphones, it's good to have something like this to keep everyone in line, so you don't have to constantly be shouting out orders, and you don't run the risk of anyone messing up because it's all clearly labeled and written out here. So when I go into the session, this will be one of the first tasks that I do. I will go in there, I will fill this out, and then I'll put on the floor, and everyone will follow suit. Alright, let's talk about some things that are a little bit more fun. I'm going to be bringing two Neumann TLM 103s. The studio has a pair there, but let's be honest, you can never have too many of these. So, and then in more microphone fun goodness, I'm going to be bringing this Coles. This is a Coles, don't mind the orange tape on there. I don't want it to fall. Can I get the angle? Coles 4038. Big fan of this microphone. I do have a pair, but one is out for repair as we speak. But I'm bringing this one, probably going to be using it on an outside kick drum. I really like how it sounds on an outside kick drum. Sounds kind of weird to have such an expensive microphone on such maybe insignificant part of the drum kit, but I think it, yeah, I think it's important. And yeah, so I'm going to stuff this all in my old high school backpack, and this will be everything that I'm kind of taking to the studio. I would also recommend, whenever you're recording drums, one thing that I think is important, I think it's important to have a pair of headphones that have really, really good isolation, because obviously the drums are a very loud instrument and the drummer's going to be blasting away, so he's going to need that click track cranked in his ears, and the last thing you want is click track or click bleed going through all of your room microphones. So I'm going to send the band a note and tell them to tell their drummer to bring in-ears or whatever system he has. You may also want to bring an 1/8 inch to 1/4 inch adapter, because depending on the situation, the drummer might bring the in-ears and not have the appropriate adapter that you may need to get it working with the headphone amp or whatever you're using. I will wake up super early tomorrow for the session, and we will go from there. I'm going to do my best to document it. I don't really know how this next part of the video is going to turn out, but we will have fun doing it. So I will see you in the morning. Pew! Thanks so much. Right there. Yeah. Does he come in right off the bat?
Yeah, he's there right away. Yeah.
Go 1 bar start. Cymbal cut better on that mic. Yeah.
It's like the first like. It's like with that cut.
Yo, I just finished editing the video, and that was a lot of fun. I've never made a video like this, and it was pretty cool. I kind of had like a loose idea of what I wanted to do, and I just went ahead and tried my best to create it, and it turned out pretty cool. So if you like this type of content, or if you like this type of video, me kind of documenting my day-to-day sessions, let me know in the comment section below. I will read the comments, I always do. If you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so. It goes a long way, as well as thank you to Nighttime in Kansas, thank you to Raven Street, and thank you to Taylor for helping assist on the session. My name is Cory Bergeron, you're watching Cory Bergeron Recordings, and I will see you in the next video.